Okay, how's everybody doing this evening? Of course, my name is Kent. The channel is EOS San Diego. And of course, I make videos about the EOS blockchain. I want to talk a little bit tonight about the price, because the price is still around $2. Hopefully it finds a little bit of a stable floor there and doesn't go much below $2, but it could, but it's very low right now. And what I want to say, the point that I want to make tonight is I want to talk about, I've been making these videos for almost a year now. Not quite a year, but getting pretty close to a year. And I remember when the price went up quite a bit. I mean, it was very low and then it went up, and of course it went up over $20. And I remember when it was going up, I used to read in a lot of the Reddit posts, and of course a lot of the different social media about EOS, if they'd waited too long to buy it, because it had gone up to like 10 or 15 or 20 or whatever, over $20. And they said, gosh, did I miss the boat? Did I wait too long? Is it too late to buy EOS? I waited till the price got too high. And a lot of people were kind of upset about that. In fact, I had people leave comments on my videos saying that they didn't like the EOS project and they were very anti-EOS. And I think one of the reasons why is because they felt like they waited too long to buy it, or they bought in, or they didn't buy in when it was a lot less expensive. Don't miss the opportunity again. So when it goes back up to $15, $20, $25, $30, $35, $40, don't be in that position saying, I missed the boat. I missed the boat, because that happens all the time. People say, I missed the boat. I didn't get it when it was lower. This is your second opportunity to buy EOS at a very cheap price. And I would definitely not let this one slip away. Opportunities don't come around forever, all the time. And this is an opportunity. Don't let this one slip past you. Because blockchain is the future, and it will be technology for the future. And that's really what I want to talk about tonight. So I want to talk about Dan Larimer made a video, or actually gave a talk out of Virginia Tech about the fact that blockchain may become mandatory for companies, given the fact that a company has to be best case practices for their shareholders. Public companies have to do the best thing for the shareholders and for the company. And if blockchain is the best way to have information on the internet, a distributed database that's secure by a number of different locations, that's best case practices. Best case practices mean that financial information is safe, information about the company is safe, customer information is safe. And if that is out there and companies don't use it, they could be liable for not using best case practices, or doing best things for the company. They're fiduciaries for the company. They're supposed to do the very best for the company. And if the very best of the blockchain and they're not doing it, they could be liable. He makes a pretty good argument for that. And of course he uses the Twitter thing where, and I always think about this with Donald Trump. Donald Trump says a lot of stuff on Twitter. A lot of stuff I wouldn't say. And I don't think a lot of stuff a lot of people wouldn't say. In fact, Donald Trump gets so close to doing things that could be criminally liable, or being liable criminally on Twitter, by saying things like knowing things that he shouldn't talk about, saying things he shouldn't say on Twitter. And I mean, I always think to myself, you shouldn't say that, man. You shouldn't say stuff that makes you sound like you're lying, or makes you look bad. But I always thought to myself, they could never hold him to it, because he could always say my Twitter account was hacked. Well, Dan Larimer talks a little bit about that in this talk. He talks about how Twitter, literally is a centralized database where someone could hack it, and if anybody gets into Twitter's account or database and hacks it, there's no way they can hold you to that content. Or Donald Trump could say, somebody hacked my Twitter account. Somebody got into my Twitter account and made some crazy statement and said that I did a bunch of crimes I didn't do. So I always thought to myself, maybe the criminal system, maybe the special prosecutor or whatever they got going on right now, couldn't really hold Trump to his tweets, because, there's always a way saying that wasn't him. Now, on the blockchain, he'd have a much rougher time getting out of those tweets, simply because that information's placed on a number of different databases as with EOS around the world, every one of those databases has their own layer of security. So literally hundreds of databases around the world that each and every one of them have their own layer of security and their own level of security. All of them would have to be compromised for somebody to say that it was hacked. And not only to mention the fact that with the blockchain, you know, every block is secure and every block has some validation to it. So some timestamp and of course signature and hash and all the other stuff. So there's a lot of validity to the blockchain that makes it more secure than any other way of doing business. So as in Twitter, someone could not make a tweet and say that they didn't do it. On the blockchain, that'd be much more difficult to do because of the redundancy of the database and also because of the fact that the blocks are organized, the blocks are secure, the blocks are signed, and the blocks are timestamped, and the blocks are all recorded. So you wouldn't get away with the fact saying, hey, I got hacked or Twitter got hacked or something like that. You'd be very, your information, your content that you put out there would be very, very secure. And it would also be very hard to say that it wasn't you or to say that it was fabricated or something like that. This may be something that companies in the future may have to do. They may have to abide by blockchain because it's out there now. Since it's out there, and other companies are using it, it may be the basic baseline standard for all companies to be on a blockchain, just for the security of the blockchain, the way the information is put down. Blockchain will be next level internet. It will be next level technology, and it will succeed. There's no doubt about it. Everything is moving towards a decentralized blockchain or decentralized database, because it's just a better way of doing everything. Everything is better doing it on a blockchain. So now you have a few companies, EOS being one of the primary ones, that's trading very relatively low compared to what it's been in the past, relatively low compared to what, you know, how it started off and where it was at when it first began. And you got an opportunity to buy it really cheap here. Don't let this opportunity slip past you. Don't let this one get past. As I've said in my videos before, it's very hard right now for people to believe me, because the price went down significantly. And there's a lot of bad, what would you say? There's a lot of, they call it FUD. I never even knew what the word was until I started doing all this stuff. Fear, indecision, all the other stuff they talk about. It's hard for people to really want to buy in now, because it's not a good time to buy in psychologically. But it is a good time to buy in because it's sound technology, and it's technology for the future. So I don't know what your finances are or anything like that. Would never suggest anybody put money into the blockchain that they can't afford to put in or lose. But I think it's definitely a good idea right now for myself. Of course, you have to make your own decisions. Everybody has to make their own decisions. A lot of people do disclaimers. I don't know about disclaimers. I think that disclaimers are a little bit overkill. I mean, everybody knows that you shouldn't be putting money into stuff that you can't afford to do. But you know, like I say, to me, it seems like it's a pretty logical thing to do, and it's a pretty good time to do it. So, but disclaimer being, that's only my opinion. I don't know. I'm obviously don't have a crystal ball. I never called this big dip. Although now that this big dip is coming into play, I kind of see how it happened. And I wished I would have been a little bit more, not so much enamored with it, and just kind of been a little bit more realistic about how this thing was going to get started, realizing that there was going to be some times where it may go down, and it may go down significantly. And you know, I think this is all playing out just probably the way most things play out. You get overly optimistic in the beginning, it takes a dip, and then it comes back, and then it becomes more substantial, and every day it becomes progressive, and it becomes better and better, better and better. And that's where we're at right now. I think we've gone to the bottoms, and now we're going to the tops. So the tops will be coming up here in the future. Who knows? 1 year, 5 years, 10 years, or whatever. But they will come. They will be here. They will, you know, it's like everything else. It just happens in the background where life is going on. It's like the internet. It's like Google. It's like Amazon. I mean, I remember when Amazon first came out. They sold books on the internet. I didn't think book selling was a very good idea. I thought, who would sell books on the internet? That's not the most, oh, what would you say? That's not the most glamorous thing to do, or that's not the, you know, I mean, who wants to buy a book? I mean, everything's on the internet now. I mean, everything is digital. Why would we buy books? So I always thought Amazon was a bad idea. Well, now you see where it's at today. But Amazon did everything. They didn't just sell books. They started doing everything. They started selling everything. So this is the way it works. So while this is taking off, why people ignore it because it's gone down and it's never going to be anything, then it takes off, and in the background it grows and grows and grows. And 5 years from now, you'll say, "Oh my God, I could have bought that at $2, and now it's $150 or $200." And look at all the money I would have made. And not only that, look at all the benefits I would have made by owning the EOS token. You know, I was checking my EOS account, and anybody can look at anybody else's account. I mean, come on. Just go to the blockchain and you can see what everybody else has. I've noticed that my accounts have picked up a lot of tokens that I didn't realize I had. Tribe tokens. I mean, there's just a lot of tokens, extra tokens there that of all the different airdrops that I haven't even been watching very closely that just have been accumulating. Someday when the market goes up, all those could be worth some money, you know, and I don't know how many tokens I've accumulated, but we've accumulated quite a few. And right now, those tokens aren't worth a lot, but hey, give it a few years, give it 3, 4, 5 years, they could be worth a lot of money. And these are tokens we didn't even buy. These are tokens we got by just owning the blockchain, by just owning EOS. So yeah, that's going on too. So anyway, don't let this opportunity get away again, because like I say, technologies, opportunities, Google's, Amazon's, all the different internet companies that have done very well over the years, those are opportunities that people, some took advantage of and some didn't. Some made a lot of money and some stood and watched. So this is an opportunity, I think, with blockchain to get involved at a very good price and do very well with it. So anyway, I appreciate you watching.